Good morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. I want to talk about the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, specifically the third horse, which speaks to famine and economic collapse. I believe we're there. This is one of the slides in my return of the timeline of the return of the Lord. And did you know that the first horse um, brings with it the idea of deception? Was deception used recently, worldwide, across the whole world, for all the world to see? You look at the first arrow there on my slide there, and I think we would all agree, most of us, that there was massive deception here by all levels of government, by international organizations, even by people you didn't think would deceive. Doctors and in the, people in the medical profession. There was a lot of deception there, and they aren't saying sorry for it either. They aren't going back on it. They aren't saying, "Oops, we made a mistake." Right? Interesting. So the first of the four horsemen of the apocalypse comes with it this idea of deception. Now, related to deception, we have what's going on in the stock markets here. So this is CNBC, and of course, yesterday there was a massive drop in stock markets, about 1,033 there on the Dow Jones points, and the S&P was ended down about 160 points. So there was a massive stock market trouble yesterday. And this is the idea of the birth pains that we encounter in the last days. They will come. They will increase in frequency and intensity. So there will be a time when things get really bad, it seems, and then there will be a lull between the birth pains. And this is what we're seeing: quite intense pain and trouble, and then a lull, and then some more intense pain and trouble, and then a lull. And I think the pandemic was one of those spikes in birth pains, and then we saw a lull. Now we're seeing a spike again with the war in across the world, in Ukraine, Russia, in the Middle East significantly now, and that is another spike. And then we'll see a lull, and then we'll see a spike in something else. So what's interesting about this, and then I'll talk about some other things, is that this is zero hedge. Retailers furious as outages hit major U.S. brokerages. So this is the idea that if you invest in the stock market, if you buy stocks, if you don't own or hold, hard assets, do you actually own them at the end of the day? It says U.S. Retail traders are panicking this AM. This was, during the trouble. U.S. traders are panicking this AM, are likely receiving push notifications on their smartphones about market turmoil in Asia and Europe, which has since spread to the U.S. pre-market. Now that the cash session is about 15 minutes away, so this is Monday, yesterday, website monitor Down Detector reports outages are emerging across major U.S. brokerage houses as everyone tries to log into their accounts and sell stocks. So, of course, when the market's going down, what do you want to do? You want to offload your stocks. What happens when you want to offload your stocks? Well, because you don't own them, you don't hold them in your hands physically, you have to rely on the internet to get access to them, similar to cryptocurrency. And I've lost heart in cryptocurrency, to be honest with you. It seems to just follow the market, which is not what you want. Gold and silver, they kind of go up when the market goes down because they're a safe haven, right? Not so with cryptocurrency. Anyways, what these people tried to do when they saw the markets were going up and down, well, maybe they wanted to do some trades. Maybe they wanted to get out. What happened? Well, all the services were down. Isn't that convenient? Now, whether this was simply because of load of investors getting in there, and maybe that is very well what it was, or maybe this would be an easy way for the government, if you will, or the people in control to limit sell-offs. This is what happens in China, for example. When there's big market troubles, what do? They lock down the stock markets to limit the bleeding. They also have these checks and balances in the stock market itself, where if the price, drops a certain number of points too quickly, they have what's known as circuit breakers. If the price goes down too quickly, they flip the circuit breaker and they halt trading on that, quote unquote asset, whatever it is on the market, to limit panic selling. What does it mean, though? It means that you can't get out when you need to if things are going down. And this is what happened with these people who wanted to trade. And so, again, what happens is, well, the big investors, the important investors, the people in the know, they get out when they need to, and everybody else, you and I, all the regular investors who are just got our life savings in there and whatever else, who are trying to log into our Ameritrade and other trade tools online. Well, oops, you can't trade, you can't get out. You have to leave your stuff in there while the price goes down, right? So it's again, whether it's a load simply or manipulation, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You can't sell the stuff that you supposedly own, right? And this is why I was just really not having any money in the markets, because when it comes to selling, you can't control it. You can't get out of it. And there was a lot of people trying to get out of it. Here's a picture. Login unavailable. Again, when you need to sell, you can't get in there because it's digital stuff, right? At the end of the day, it's all digital. You don't own it. You don't control it. If you have shovels and rakes and tools, screwdrivers and drills in your possession as hard assets, then you can't control it. If you don't own it, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And this is the thing. Same with cryptocurrency. What's going to happen, when cryptocurrency goes down during World War III, during the time, when the economy collapses, and the internet goes down, because what are they doing? What's Israel doing in Iran right now? Well, they're starting to take the internet down. There's articles and Twitter posts of the internet going down in Tehran ahead of the Iranian strike on Israel after the Hania assassination, right? And is crypto going to do you any good at all when things go sideways? No, because communications are going to go down. The internet's going to go down. The government's going to take stuff down so that you can't panic sell your assets. So this is why you need gold, silver, hard assets, shovel, a hammer, screws, maybe a box of nails. These are tangible things that you can use right now, and no one, well, I guess they can steal it from you, but no one can prevent you from accessing it. You have it, you hold it. It's very important. I can't stress that enough. At the end of the day, when you want to buy food, if you have the tools and the implements to be able to grow that food, that's going to be more valuable to you and especially in a barter trade system. When the markets go down, people aren't going to be trying to exchange crypto with you in the middle of World War III or during economic collapse. They're going to say, look, I have a couple apples. Can you give me some potatoes, right? Again, conveniently, this is Robinhood. Oops, Robinhood says there will be no 24-hour trading on Monday due to issues at third-party venue. So again, if, this was late Monday. Oops, if you still want to get into the market, on Tuesday, today, you can't. You can't log into your account. You can't access your money, can you? Nope. Brokerage firm Robinhood announced Monday evening that it would not offer overnight trading. So again, at the high time, at the critical time when you need to get in there and manage your investments, you cannot do it. This has happened time and time again. When everything is awesome, you can get in there, no problem. The government or whomever's in control says, no, no problem. You get in there. You feel like you have control of your money. That's good. We'll increase your confidence in our system. When things are critical, when you have to get in there, when the markets are going down in a huge amount, that is exactly when you cannot get in there. And again, whether it's nefarious, big government locking these things down to prevent overselling, just like they do obviously in China, just like they do obviously in the U.S. stock market with the circuit breakers, or whether it's simply load on the system because a lot of people are trying to get in there. It doesn't matter. It's down. You don't have access to your money supposedly. So get out of the stock markets is what I'll say. This is the economic collapse blog. This isn't the end for financial markets. The truth is, this is just the beginning of the chaos, and I will agree to that. First, we have the deception, the first horse of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and then comes war, and that's what I have. Economic collapse, World War III, that second arrow there. That's what always comes. Yeah, with World War always comes economic collapse, and that's what I was going to say. Or to cover up the bad economic trouble, they also take you to war. When they want to distract you, they take you to World War III, right? And then with World War III and economic collapse and the loss of human life and loss of economic activity, then we have job losses. Then we have what do we have from there? And then it's famine, starvation. These are inevitable outcomes. This is the order of events that's going to occur. As you have famine, starvation, then unrest starts increasing. People start getting angry with each other. They start getting desperate. You see violence increase. And then the government has to crack down, right, because of the violence and the social unrest, and the people are getting frustrated with the government. And so the government has to crack down finally. And that's when you have government control. Once you have government control, then you have the government wanting to be able to track people, and the world government will come out and want to track people. And then we have finally the world order and the mark of the beast taking control at that time. And that's the order of events, and this is ultimately what the four horsemen of the apocalypse are really spelling out. Let me go here. Again, the white horse, deception. Is that the pandemic? Very possibly. And then we have this war, which triggers economic collapse, or economic collapse triggers a war. It doesn't matter. The seal describes what's happening during that time. Then we have the third seal, famine. Again, the result of economic collapse. And then the fourth seal is many people dying because of the starvation, because of everything. And then the great tribulation and martyrdom in the fifth seal. So in between the fourth and the fifth really is, part and parcel of this, maybe even after after the World War, the second seal, is the implementation of the world government. And then we're right into the tribulation at that point in time, which is not the wrath of God. The wrath of God comes during the great tribulation. What we experience during the first four seals would be the tribulation of, the wrath of man, or the free reign of Satan, if you will, and just the sin and man fighting man on this earth before the wrath of God comes. So this is what we see right now. I think this economic stuff, there's going to be a dead cat bounce. I don't think this is going to be the drop. When actual World War III starts, the first nuclear bomb that's dropped, for example, that's going to be the real trigger. And then we move into, the idea of the Antichrist figure. We have to get to the precipice of World War III. Maybe a nuclear bomb or two dropped. It's going to be absolute madness and chaos. But it needs to be a big enough war, a big enough event that puts all the citizens of the world on their knees, just like during the pandemic, just like when the media stirred up the fear and the panic about this massive disease coming that was going to kill everybody. They got all the citizens to bow down, to get on their knees and say, "Please, government, you tell us what we need to do, and we'll do it." That's exactly what happened during the pandemic. And what did 99% of people do? They followed hook, line, and sinker. They bought that lie. Will they be deceived again? Yes, this time they will be deceived with nuclear weapons, and they will believe that they need the government to save them again during that period. And out of that again comes the world government and the Antichrist figure. So, is this economic collapse going to be the end of it? I don't think this is the end of it, but this is just a sign of the times. This is a confirmation that we are on the path to basically the fulfillment of the Revelation chapter 6. Go read it. I believe it's really a timeline for the last days, the tribulation and the great tribulation. And we're moving along very, very quickly. You look at that figure on the right-hand side, the Tytler cycle of history. Go Google the Tytler cycle of history. It shows you as nations increase and then collapse, or as societies grow and then collapse. It shows you the whole cycle. It goes around in a circle, and it goes from bondage into spiritual faith. And, this is what happened, 70, 80 years ago. Spiritual faith, then it goes to courage. Courage goes to liberty and freedom. Again, this is what you saw in North America, 70, 80 years ago, and out of World War II. And then you have abundance, and we had abundance. We had, everybody had just a lot of money. But you think of the 50s, for example, the middle class was growing. And then from there, you have selfishness growing out of that. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, selfishness. And then complacency. And this is where we are now: complacency, apathy, and dependence. Dependence on the government. Dependence on the government dole, welfare. And once the government has you under control, once the population depends on the government, then you're basically in bondage again, and you're at the top of the circle. And so this is where we're at. We're in independence, and we're near complete and total bondage, which will be the rule and reign of the Antichrist. He will control us, those who accept the mark anyways. And, will there be time for spiritual faith out of that? Well, after that comes the Great Tribulation. So maybe there will be some saved during that Great Tribulation, but probably not many. But this is a cycle of history. This is a cycle of nations and societies. And we're following it, folks. We're following all over again. So thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. Be prepared. You need to own hard assets. Even in the last days, of course, the Bible says that even gold and silver will be thrown into the streets, because you can't eat gold and silver, right, during that period of time. But hard assets, shovels, rakes, firearms for food, that sort of thing, those will pay up, because you can barter, you can trade, you can sell those things. When the markets go down, they're going to lock you out of the market, so you can't get your money out, right? You can't control it. Cryptocurrency. When World War III starts, communications will go down, internet will go down, just like Israel is doing in Iran. You won't be able to, you can't control it. You can't buy and sell it at that time. It's the critical times when you need to buy and sell. That's exactly when you will not have access to those digital assets or your money in the stock market. So understand that and be prepared accordingly.